on that set and out in the forest. You know, we have to rehearse out of costume. We rehearsed all the moves, so I would know where I was going. I would find sight lines, and I would say, please, you all have to do exactly what we've done in rehearsal. Oh yeah. They would do all that, agree. And then one day, action, I stepped forward, and Ewok got in the wrong place. I'm like, ah! It was okay. We had spares. But they were just as hot as I was, and life was tough then. But hands up, who had a cuddly Ewok toy? Okay. What is the word for that? It's called merchandising. And do you know the merchandise makes more money than the movies? Isn't that scary? How many of people here have got something to do with Star Wars in their sitting room? I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. I personally don't, because I kind of live the whole thing. We've already found out that there's some amazing people, Michael, Joel, in this audience, who has a super suggestion of the force. Anybody else asleep in this room? But right. Does anybody have a question they would like to ask me? I've just seen R2D. Just come and show us your beautiful R2D. I just love this. You know, what is your name?
Jamie.
Jamie. Yeah, still Jamie. It was Jamie this afternoon. You know, if R2D2 had actually been like this, filming would have been a heck of a lot more fun. Thank you. And you have a twin sister somewhere. Oh, sorry, just
right here.
Where? Oh, there. Look at you. Come here. Let's take a twin shot. But I've just seen something rather remarkable there. Quick as you like, honey. Go. Just come back here. Yes. Look at the. Oh. Okay. You can't see the feet. Do we think that gym shoes, trainers, or the thigh-length blacks, shiny black? I'm sorry, honey. I think you win. I've never thought of R2D2 having what do we call patent leather thigh-length somewhere. I had to reappraise all those scenes I was in. Thank you very much. A big hand for people who look magical as R2D2. I do want to find out, and I'm going to ask you, sir, to turn around a bit, if you don't mind, because I have no idea. You're not Darth Vader, are you? Is this a non-speaking role? Right. And have I to guess which entertainment you're from? Have I to guess? Okay. He's what? What?
Daft Punk.
Death?
D-A-F-T.
Daft? Oh, I see. Oh God, I gotta go out more. Daft Punk. So not steampunk. Steampunk serious. No, it's not serious. I'm so out of my depth here. Have you noticed? But you're not in a Star Wars movie.
Nope.
Yet, right. Okay. Thank you very much. Beautiful costume, and I have no idea. Very, very good. Terrific job. Why anybody would choose to come to any event wearing a costume in which they can neither speak and barely breathe, certainly not eat or drink, is quite beyond my programming. Because that was one of my major problems. You know, I wore that suit all day. And time was when there were two major questions that I would be asked. Is it hot in the costume? And how do you go to the bathroom in the costume? That's all people were interested in. And I will tell you that I wore the costume all day the first day, and that was not fun. Now I am like Her Majesty the Queen of England, and you should get into this rule. Anytime you can, use the bathroom. Anytime you can, sit down, because you don't know how many hours it's going to be. Who laughed when I fell over? What happened on the set was that there was a little corner of, that was one of the few real sets that we had, Padme's sitting room, And there was a little corner of the curvy steps that I didn't see. And I fell, but I caught the windowsill, and as I said, was doing a press-up. What was great for me was hearing Natalie's voice, and I think Ewan saying, "Are you okay?" And I thought, they care, they really care. Then, and you saw me in the dubbing studio there, suddenly they by accident showed me that footage, and I see, before the words, "Are you okay?" what you saw was, and then in the previous one, you probably wondered why I walked into a bunch of polyboard. What happened was I was walking towards, why am I doing it this way? How odd. Because the camera's down there. So I rehearsed in the costume, and I think R2 was being digitalized at that point. So I'm walking along, talking to him like this, and going straight past the camera, the lens there. That was rehearsal. So then I turned my back, and you saw Don Bees there helping me over the threshold. He's the guy who does R2-D2, but he also dresses me up. So he puts the head on, I turn around, I look at the camera, look past the camera, and they say action, and I carry on talking to my right. So I'm not actually looking, I'm praying I'm going in a straight line, I'm not looking where I'm going. And suddenly the world turns into what sounded like a bowl of giant Rice Krispies. And I began to tumble into space. What they had done, stop laughing, it's very hurtful. I could have really hurt myself. I could have been wounded and damaged and everything. Too late now, you laughed. They had looked at me coming towards them and gone, as you noticed, we were surrounded by green screen, and there was so much green screen in my costume that they decided to try and mitigate it by putting sheets of polystyrene painted black polyboards that cuts out reflection and so on, at an angle of about 45 degrees to under the camera lens. So it came away from the camera by about 4 feet. And of course, I have tunnel vision. So I just walked straight into it. And I'm not sure you can see the camera crew cowering back, but I can be dangerous, you know. I really wounded this guy in Jabba's palace. He was leaving. They said, "Oh, John, come and hold this board for Anthony's going to fall from Jabba like that." He said, "Sure." He came in, and sure enough, Jabba swiped me. I did that. I fell, and when I stood up again, blood was pouring from this guy's head. My elbow had caught him. I did fall over a few times, and it's not pleasant, but it's... have we got any VIPs in the audience here? Hands up the VIPs. There's an extraordinary sign here, which I'm going to now show you, because you have to do it. This whole VIP thing, what's it about? Hands up the people who aren't VIPs. I love you, all honeys. I love you. It's us against them. You know about the French Revolution. Yes, hit a VIP. But here's the thing, there's this new game in town. Get it? Get it? VIPs, hands up. And ready? Yeah, good that you put your hand up there. But you're going to have to do a private jump for us now. I've lost you. Yes, you're a VIP? Yeah. Okay, would you stand up? Oh no, you've got to sit down for it, haven't you? Yeah. Okay, what's your name? Mike. Mike, camera on Mike. Can we go to a close-up of Mike, who is here? I'm going to, where is he? Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much. Good. Yeah, he's with the spectacle. Okay, you'll see him in a second. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay, now all the VIPs then ready, and it doesn't just say jump once. Ready and are you a VIP? Right? Because we're going to some of you are jumping better. Your feet have to leave the ground. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All you non-VIPs, are you in enjoying this? Want to see it one more time? Well done, big hand for the VIPs. But we are all equals, are we not? So you heard me talking about episode 3 there. And of course in episode 2, suddenly C-3PO is not the puppet that he was in episode 1. But he is the, how do you say, the rusty thing. Well, what happened was that I in fact was doing the puppeteering all the time. So I had this humongously unique special prop attached to my feet, my knees, my waist, my chest, sticks for arms attached to a helmet on my head, and I was puppeteering this thing. And out in the homestead, at Marta, I said, oh, can you put boards down? Because it was a rocky, real rocky surface, and it was uneven. And I couldn't see because my feet were attached to the back of his feet. And I could only look forward, because if I looked down, he looked down. If I looked sideways, he looked sideways. And they said, we've got no boards. So, fine. On the first take, I stepped forward, action, and Master Evan, may I introduce Anakin Skywalker, etc. Cut, terrific. And then we did another setup, action, may I introduce, perfect. Take 3, and all these are different camera angles, different lenses, whatever. Take 4, take 5. Then, it was C-3PO's close-up. Action. Master, and in the nanoseconds that it takes from being vertical to being horizontal, my life sped by me in centuries. I'm falling here, I'm falling. I'm attached to this thing that weighs as much as me. I'm going to die. On camera. Actually, for an actor, that would be a real way to go. Wouldn't that be magical? Immortalized. And I hit the ground. And I didn't hit it running. I hit it with an almighty bang. And there was a deep silence. And then people started to run. And Don Bees was the first one there, and at this point I was actually wiggling my toes to see if I was kind of still functioning. And he cut me out of the costume, took the straps off like a Steadicam harness, and they stood me up, and I was in shock because I had been scared. And then I looked down at the costume which was lying on the ground. I had completely smashed from the waist down the left leg of this plastic and metal thing. I had wrecked, destroyed the one artifact like this in the world, and we were in the middle of the desert. So I was shocked, not only for myself, but now I've hurt my friend. I've wounded C-3PO. And then Don says, oh, it's okay, it's your close-up. And he took a big pair of metal shears and he cut the entire puppet in half. And actually for that scene, I then walked towards Padme, etc., with the whole thing strapped. It was so much easier, actually. I couldn't go anywhere at all. But then we had the scene where Padme actually dressed C-3PO. Do you know about this scene? I've talked about it before. It was night. It was blue, sort of moonlight night. So it was darker than this. It was darker than this. It was night. It was in the garage on Tatooine, and everyone is asleep as it grew darker and darker. And there is C-3PO. I didn't say it was midnight, I just said it was dawn. And there's C-3PO sitting there, alone, and in walks Padme Amidala in a rather fetching blue nightgown. And she came in and she said, oh, can't you sleep either, C-3PO? I don't sleep, I just turn off for a while. Are you happy here, C-3PO? Well, I'm not unhappy, it's just being like this. Like what? Naked, if you'll pardon the expression. And he went on to explain that for the boy had to go away, Anakin, before he could do all the coverings. And suddenly, but he was sure he'd come back. And suddenly you realise the pain of this character, head of protocol and etiquette. One, he sense of mood, wandering around naked all these years, 18 years, I think. So Padme says, but 3PO, there's a box of coverings here. Only in a George Lucas movie could you have a box of coverings in the middle of the garage, totally unnoticed by the most brilliant robot on the planet. And the scene ended with Padme and Natalie picking up the chess piece and putting it on C-3PO's front. And then you cut away to do something else. And then you came back, and there was Padme putting the face on C-3PO. So his eyes suddenly popped through, thanks to a bunch of fridge magnets around my face. And there, suddenly, C-3PO was C-3PO. And he was so happy. And Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru came in, and everybody was just thrilled that there was 3PO, total entire himself. And then George got into post-production and went, yeah, we got no time for this stuff. We had to go off and kill some people. Remember that? All that kind of thing. So then I went back and did everything again that we'd done so far against blue screen, remembering what I'd done, the movements, the speech and everything. And it makes me a little sad because it was one of the true pathetic, wonderful, soulful moments, and it showed you the inside of a machine. So hopefully one day, when you get the director's special cut, special edition, 3D, version 69, widescreen, in your ear, out your ear, anyway, you will see these offshoot moments because they were truly gentle and rather nice. And there aren't too many moments like that, are there, in Star Wars movies? But the whole story goes on, as you know, and as the day brightens into the future, we can think where we would like the story to go. Obviously, we assume 3PO will be the star of the next show, because I think, you said, no, you remember episode 2, he got a gun. He got a gun in his hand, yeah, a blaster, yeah, he really liked it. Score Revenge of the Droid. All that being put down upon, yeah. So who knows where the future will lead? But right now, the future has brought me here to Fan Days in Irving, Texas, where I can thank you. I can take this moment to thank you personally. Some of you have been with me for the last 40 years or whatever, through the whole journey. Some of you have only just arrived. They'll be with me for the future, as you will. So I guess this is a moment when I could say thank you for being there.